7600. Hi guys, welcome back to 7600 Podcast with your host Madison. And on today's episode, I will be speaking about the realities of living in your 20s in today's society, not just in general, but especially in today's society. So, for this episode, I don't remember how I came up with this episode because I came up with it a while ago. New ideas always just pop in my head. But yeah, I don't remember the exact reason behind why I wanted to do this episode, but it makes sense because I'm in my 20s, so yeah. But I feel like this episode is important for fellow Gen Zers because that's what I am. I think this episode is important because I feel like a lot of people in their 20s and 30s too are struggling in different ways, and whether it be financial, whether it be in a social aspect, in a mental aspect, in all different types of ways pretty much. Not saying other age groups aren't struggling, but I just feel like, I can speak about the struggles of Gen Z because, like I said, I am Gen Z. So I understand what we're going through. A lot of us are feeling, not all of us, but a lot of us. And yeah, so I want to start off by saying I feel like Gen Z and millennials too, some millennials, yeah, like the younger ones, like people who just turned 30. I feel like we were low-key robbed of of enjoyment of being in your 20s because I'm gonna just be honest about everything, how I'm feeling, and I'm trying to be positive about it, but it gets to a point where it's annoying, and I'm at that point, and I feel like a lot of other people are also at that point, so I'm gonna just be real about how I feel and just keep it pushing. So when it comes to being in your 20s, I feel like growing up, we were not taught, but I guess you just heard people say oh, your 20s are the best years of your life. You're young, you're vibrant, you have the best body you'll ever have. Most likely is not true because a lot of people in their 30s and 40s, they look better than people in their 20s nowadays, just saying. But yeah, you'll have the best body. This is the best you'll ever look. This is the youngest you'll ever look. And, this is a time to have fun and enjoy your life because once you get to your, 30s, 40s, 50s, then you're going to want to settle down a little bit more. So the 20s is the time to live it up, basically. And I heard that a lot growing up as well from all different types of people, even on TV and music and movies and just different places. And I feel like your 20s should be that time to have fun and learn and grow and evolve. You're always going to do that even if you are older. People in their 90s are still learning things, whether it's about themselves or about the world or about people around them, whatever the case may be. We never stop learning. I feel like we're students of life. But I just feel like your 20s is the time to actually live it up, I guess you could say. I personally, I don't know if I've already said this or not. I might have. But if money was no option, I would be traveling to different countries right now. I would be going to, I really want to go to, my top 3 right now are Egypt, Japan, and Italy. Those are my top 3 countries I want to visit the most right now. And I would go to, Japan for maybe 2 weeks and then go to Thailand because it's also in Asia, and then go to China. So do those 3 countries for a month or 2 months, and then go to Europe and go to Italy and go back to Portugal and go to Greece and wherever else I want to go, and Norway, Sweden, and wherever else, and then go to the Caribbean, go to Jamaica, go to St. Thomas and Barbados, Bahamas. That's how I would be living my life right now if money was no object, because I really want to I don't want to say enjoy. Well, enjoy is the best word to use, but you can also enjoy your life without doing, traveling. But I want to be able to travel and do the things I want to do before I have a lot of responsibilities, because I don't have any kids yet. I don't know what the future holds, but I really want to be able to do what I want to do now before I have responsibilities. Because I can't get up and say, "Oh, I'm going to go to Thailand in 2 weeks" if I have a kid. Like it doesn't work like that. So I'd rather be able to do these things now. So the fact that I can't at the current moment is very frustrating for me. And it's okay. It's not like horrible or anything like that. But at the end of the day, I'd rather be living the life that I want to live. And unfortunately, I can't right now for different reasons. But, that's just life. Life be life and every day. But I feel like in your 20's, you should take those opportunities because, like I said, like when you have more responsibilities, you can't just up and do stuff or go hang out with people, or even in your own city, you can't just drop everything and say like I'm gonna go hang out with my friends or I'm gonna go solo dolo and do something. Like you can't just do stuff like that when you have a bunch of responsibilities. So I feel like you're the time to do stuff like that and just be adventurous and just do whatever is in your 20's. Like I feel like that's the time to do that. But at the same time, your 20's is not just about having fun. Like I said, it's about growth and evolving and trying different things, going different places, meeting new people, and really just figuring out who you are as a person. So when you get to your 30's, 40's, 50's, 60's, whatever else, you have established who you are at a younger age. So you're not trying to figure out who you are when you're 50 years old. I don't think that's a good thing because I was going to say it's not a horrible thing, but I don't think it's a good thing to not know who you are at 50. I feel like that's a little, by the way, 50 is not old. So for anybody who thinks that, you're crazy. 50 is not old. But I feel like that's a little too late. Like, people aren't old at 50 or even 60. I feel like 60s is older and then 70 and above is old. But 60s and below is not old in my opinion. I feel like, dang, I lost my train of thought. I be having so many thoughts in my head. Sometimes I gotta get them out. But what was it? I don't know. Hopefully I'll remember. But I feel like in your 60's, 50s, 60's, those ages, you should know who you are. Like you shouldn't be still in the place of trying to figure out who you are. And I feel like, again, your 20's is the time to do that. Like I've met quite a few people who have said that they don't know what they like to do. And it always confuses me a little bit because I'm like, how do you not know what you like to do? Like, what do you do with your life? Like, what do you do on a daily that you enjoy? Like, do you enjoy reading? Do you enjoy traveling? Do you enjoy watching movies? Do you enjoy being athletic? Do you go to the gym? Do you like to run? Do you like to swim? Do you like to play video games? Do you like to solve puzzles and whatever else? Do you like to go out to the club? Do you like to dance? I feel like you should learn those things at a younger age so you're not kind of stifled when you get to your a little bit older, because I feel like, again, like I said, 40s, 50s, 60s, that's not old, but I feel like you're too old. That's what it was. I feel like you're too old to not know who you are at that age. That's what I was trying to figure out earlier, what I was trying to say. You're not old, but I feel like you're too old, like too grown to not know who you are by that age. It's a little ridiculous in my opinion. Like, okay, I understand everybody's situation is different and circumstances and everything, but it just seems a little crazy to not know who you are at that big age. Like, not the little age, but the big age. That's a little crazy in my opinion, but hey. So, not the hey. But yeah, so I feel like your 20's is just a decade of figuring out who you are, not just internally, not just like what you like to do, but also internally. If you are, like, for me, for instance, for myself, I'm an introvert, but I'm also an extrovert. So I'm an ambivert, I think it's called. So I'm an introvert with people that I'm not familiar with, but I'm very extroverted with people that I am familiar with. Like, I enjoy conversations, I enjoy going out, having fun. What my definition of fun is, I love to try new things. I love to travel. I want to go all over the place. So I'm very extroverted with people that I know. But when I don't know people, if I'm in a room full of people that I don't know, I'm very introverted. I'm very quiet. And that's the thing. I've learned that about myself really when I was in high school. And then as time went on, I learned more and more about being introverted and, things of that nature. And I used to be really shy. And that was like the one thing I always hated about myself. I could not stand the fact that I was shy because it was so annoying. Like, to be a shy person, I was so shy to the point where people in high school would think I was stuck up because I just wouldn't talk, which I find a little odd because it's like just because someone doesn't speak doesn't mean they're stuck up. They're just shy and they're quiet. I'm still a quiet person. I feel like I'll always be a quiet person. I enjoy silence. I enjoy being alone by myself. It doesn't bother me at all. I actually love my time by myself. But I also love time around people that I actually enjoy. I don't want to just be around people. I actually don't like to just be around a bunch of people, like random people. I want to be around my people. Hold on. Sorry, my washing machine just went off and it makes this dinging sound like it's the freaking ice cream truck. Just didn't want it to be heard. But yeah. So yeah, I figured out who I am at a younger age, so I knew who I was. And over time, I grew out of my shyness a lot because my first job, I had to speak to people that I wasn't familiar with, which I didn't really like to do at the time. So it got me out of my comfort zone a lot, and I had to do it to the point where I got so comfortable doing it that it was nothing. Like, it was like, oh, I have to talk to this customer. No big deal. It did not matter, like, at all. But when I first started, it wasn't like that for me. So I grew out of my shyness a lot. I'm still, like I said, reserved, quiet, introverted, but I can speak to any and everybody now. Am I comfortable walking up to random people and starting conversations? No, not really. That's not my thing. But I can do it, but am I comfortable doing it? No. And that was the thing too. I also had to learn that don't try to push myself to be somebody that I'm not, because I would like to be a little bit more outgoing, but at the same time, that's just not me. And I don't want to try to be somebody that I'm not because, like I said, I've grown out of my shyness, but at the same time, I don't want to try to mold myself into somebody that I'm not. It's like, you're not outgoing in that way. Like I said, I can speak to anybody, but I'm not just walk up to people and just start talking and like, hey, and that's just not really me. Unless the environment is a comfortable environment. I'm very socially selective, I guess you could say. But yeah, so I didn't want to try to push myself to be somebody that I'm not and force myself to try to do things that I really don't want to do, because even being on social media, I would see a lot of people do solo dates, like, by themselves. Like, they would go to a restaurant or something by themselves. And I thought, you know what, I should try that. Like, I should try to do that. And the thing was, over time, I never actually ended up doing it. And the thing was, like, I didn't want to do that for real. I was just thinking about doing it because I saw other people doing it. So I'm like, don't be influenced to do things that you really don't even want to do. Again, there's nothing wrong with stepping out of your comfort zone. There's nothing wrong with trying new things. You should try new things because you don't grow in your comfort zone. But at the same time, don't try to push yourself to be somebody that you're just not. And if you become that person over time, it should happen naturally. You shouldn't try to force something, because at that point, it's kind of like you're trying to work for it versus letting it happen naturally. And I had to remember that. I feel like a few months ago, I thought about this. I was like, instead of trying to do something that you really don't want to do, just let it go. Like, I don't want to go on a solo date. I don't want to go to a restaurant by myself and sit down and eat by myself. I don't have a desire to do that. Like, I don't have a desire to solo travel. I already spend so much time alone. So when it's time to go out and do things, why would I want to keep going out by myself every 5 seconds? I'm not a loner. I enjoy the company of people, just my people, family, friends, people that I actually enjoy. So I get my nails done by myself. I go grocery shopping by myself. I do this, that, and the third by myself. I go walking in my neighborhood by myself. I do a lot of things alone. I do this podcast by myself. So I do so much alone, and I spend so much time by myself that when I have the opportunity to go out with people that I actually enjoy, I take it. So it's like, I don't want to be that person that's always by myself. Again, I don't mind it. I really enjoy it, but I don't want to be so stuck in solitude that I never put myself in a position to hang out with people because I could get stuck in solitude for a while. And it's like, I don't want to be that person that doesn't want to hang out with people. So I said all of that because I know that was a whole ramble, but I said all of that to say, figure out who you are in your 20s. And that I feel like that's one of the best things you can do in your 20s is figure out who you are. There's never like a late moment. Like you're 29 and you still don't fully know who you are. And you're just like, I'm running out of time. No, you're really not running out of time. Because unless you plan to die in like 3 days, I highly doubt you're running out of time. We don't have all day. Like, don't get me wrong. Don't be sitting around for 50 years trying to figure it out. But at the same time, don't think you're running out of time. You have to push yourself to be somebody that you're not. Because then you're going to end up doing things and hanging out with people that you have no desire to be around. You have no desire to do some of those things. And I've seen that happen to people where it's like they just kind of like go where the wind pushes them. Like they're just like all over the place. Like they're not stable because they're everywhere. And it's unfortunate, but I feel like that's one of the biggest things to work on in your 20s is figuring out who you are as a person. So later on down the line, you're not bobbleheaded trying to figure it out at 45 or 65. And it's like, okay, that's a little ridiculous in my opinion, but okay. So yeah, that's one thing I feel like you should definitely work on in your 20s. And really just being in your 20s it's like a roller coaster. It's so much. I swear, society, I don't even want to say society. I want to say, I don't know. I don't know if I should say my parents or people, I guess. I don't know. I'm going to just say my parents because, they raised me. My parents, I feel like, did not prepare me for the ups and downs of your 20s because, like, of course, their 20s is different from my 20s because we live in a different world. But your 20s, it's not just like a big ball of fun. It's not just, like I said, it's not just going out and having a good time and going this place and going that place. It's a lot. It's a lot. Like I said, you should be figuring out who you are. You should be figuring out your career, what you want to do with, like what you want to do as a career. If you want to go to college or not, if you want to go right after high school or wait a while, or you don't want to go to college at all, or whatever the case may be, if you want to work in healthcare, if you want to be a this, if you want to be a that, if you want to be an actor or a hairstylist or the president or whatever the case may be. I feel like your 20s is the time to figure that out because, again, you don't want to feel like you're doing things a little late in life. Again, it's fine if you are, but I'd prefer to have things figured out in my 20s or at least like early 30s versus 50s. Just saying. But yeah, your 20s is such a roller coaster. People don't even talk about how you'll meet so many different people. Like when I tell you, I've met so many different people and interacted with so many different people and had so many different conversations, good and bad and annoying, from so many different people of so many different age groups of different races, they're from different countries, everything. And I can say that you will lose a lot of people in your 20s, I feel like. It's not a guarantee, but I feel like it will definitely happen because I've come across quite a few people, not a whole lot, but enough people that, I met them and became cool with them. Like we just clicked and I thought I was building, like we were building a friendship, or I could see myself being friends with them in the future because I don't just call people my friend. And they're no longer in my life. Like they're no longer around. I don't talk to them. We don't text. We don't talk on the phone. We don't FaceTime. We don't do none of that. We don't do none of that. And it's very frustrating at times. It was more frustrating when it would first start to happen because, how can I say it? Over time, I realized something later, but I'm going to say this first. Like I said, if you don't know, I am a Christian. I am a follower of Jesus Christ. And one prayer that we Christians say that you should never play about is when you meet new people, especially somebody that you're interested in dating, especially if you want to date to marry, friends and people that you come in contact with that you want to date. You have to say the prayer of, Lord, if this person is not meant to be in my life, remove them. Remove them, remove them. And that prayer works quick. That prayer works so quick. It is speedy. It is not a 5 years later down the line. Let me give an example, right? There was this guy I had talked to, talking stage, And it was a few years ago. We had hung out one time, and then he got my number. We started texting, and we went out again. And I was like, okay, he's really cool. I was obviously attracted to him. He was attracted to me. We were in the talking stage. Once he asked me for my number and we started texting, I said the prayer. I said, Lord, if this man, I was specific. I said, if this man is not my husband, because I'm dating to marry, if this man is not my husband, take him out of my life. I said that prayer 3 times in the span of, I want to say 2 days. That talking stage lasted a week. 1 week. Not a year, not a month, not 5 months, 1 week, and that was it. And he was gone. He was gone. And we became cool afterwards. We were just friendly, not anything dating wise. Like, that was never meant to happen once I learned more things later on down the line. But yeah, it was quick. It didn't take long at all. And so yeah, there was no love involved, and there was no heartbreak. And a lot of people go through that. They stay with people for years, and then once they realize this person is not really for them, and now they're heartbroken, they're sad, they're going through it and all these different things. And a lot of that can be avoided if we really just say the prayer and take heed to what God is showing us and telling us. And when you say the prayer and God removes that person, don't chase after them. Please, for the love of God, do not chase after them. Don't ignore what God is doing, showing you, and trying to protect you from, and chase after that person. I don't care how nice they are. I don't care how pretty or fine they are. I don't care how much of a good time you have with them, the great conversations that you have. It does not matter. If God removed them, let them go. Let them go. It does not matter. So that was me in those instances with these different people. When I would meet them and I would become friendly with them and we would hang out, I would say the prayer. And over time, those people are not in my life anymore. And it really sucked, because it was like, well, dang, like, do I get to have any friends, God? Like, do I get to have any friends? Because I don't want to be down here by myself. Like, I got you, and that's all that I need. But at the same time, I would like to be able to go out and have fun and actually enjoy my life, especially my 20s, like, while I'm young. Like I said, I don't have a bunch of responsibilities. Like, I want to be able to enjoy my life, and I can't go out and do things. Well, I can, but like I said, I would prefer to go out with people. And it's like, well, I would like to be able to go out with people that I actually enjoy and that I know. But if you keep taking everybody away, I'm not going to have any friends left. Whole time, those people were never meant to be in my life anyway. They weren't my friends for real. And it is what it is, But at the time, it was really hard sometimes, especially with certain people. Because me personally, like, the people that I am referring to, like, we clicked fast. And with me being an introvert, I have to be very comfortable around you to really show you my personality, because I am a goofy person. Like, I am goofy. I laugh all day long at the dumbest things ever. Like, I love to laugh. I probably laugh like 1,000 times a day. And yeah, I just love to smile, laugh, have a good time. And I just have a lot of humor in me, and I don't show that to everybody because I'm not comfortable doing it. Because I really, like, if I'm gonna be real, I don't want people to be like, oh, she's weird, because it's like, maybe a little bit, but like in a goofy way, not in a crazy way, obviously. But it's like, you don't. Well, I can't say everybody else, but for me, I don't want to give that to like any and everybody. So you have to like make me comfortable around you. And with those people that I'm referring to, that's what happened. I was comfortable around them and pretty quickly too. Like it just literally happened. And we would hang out and yeah, things were fine. And then like I said, over time I would say the prayers and those people just weren't in my life anymore. There was no fallout, there was no beef, there was no oh, I don't like you, you don't like me, or we just, there was none of that. There was no drama behind it. It was just like, you're gone out of my life and that's it. We just don't talk anymore. Like, we just don't talk anymore. And yeah, so I feel like that's one thing a lot of people don't prepare people for in their 20s because maybe they just don't think about that, or maybe they don't feel like that's important. Because a lot of people will look at life and think like, oh, you need to work on your finances, you need to work on your career, you need to work on, building a resume or going to college or doing this, that, and the third. You don't need to really focus too much on friends, so they're not really thinking about it like that. But in reality, it's like, okay, well, depending on the person, if you lose friends, well, you're not really losing them because they're not meant to be in your life anyway, but it feels like a loss because you actually enjoyed their time. So they're no longer in your life. It affects you regardless of what age you are. It affects you because it's like, well, dang, I thought we were cool and you're just not in my life anymore, and it sucks because it's like, well, I didn't think this would happen, especially more than once. And then at the same time, it's like you don't know when you're gonna meet real friends. And for me personally, I'll be like a little transparent. There were times where I would meet people after I would notice these people weren't in my life anymore. I would start to, like, when I meet other people, I would think, well, I wonder how long this person's going to be around. And I don't want to have that thought process of they're probably going to be around for a few months or they're going to be around for maybe a year or so because, like, some people are for a season and a reason, but it's like I don't want that anymore. I don't want the season and reason friends or potential friends. I want you're going to be around for a lifetime. And we don't get to pick and choose who those people are, so that's up to God, really. So at the end of the day, it can be very frustrating, but I found myself in that position a lot where it's like I meet somebody and I'm like, oh, you're cool. Like I could see myself being friends with you. And then I talk to them more and I'm like, oh yeah, you're really cool. And then it's like, I wonder how long they're going to be around. They're probably going to be around for like 5 months and then we'll just not talk anymore. And it's annoying to think like that, but it's like, it's happened so many times where it's like, okay, it's kind of inevitable to not think like that a little bit. So yeah, but I feel like that's a big part of your 20s as well. The reality of your 20s that a lot of people don't talk about is you will run through so many different people. And especially, I feel like now with social media age, it makes it worse because a lot of people only want to be around you for, what's the word to use? For, I guess, like, I'm gonna just say bad reasons, or they want to be around you and they're not genuine. Some people want to be around you because you have a big following on, YouTube, social media, Snapchat, Instagram, TikTok, whatever. You have a big following. People want to be around you for that. People want to be around you because you're attractive. People want to be around you because when you go out, you attract other people and they want to attract other people as well. They just want to be seen with you. A lot of people will do things like that when it comes to social media. It's like social media is like brainwash people into believing things that are true that really aren't true and to behave in a certain way that's actually very psychotic if you ask me. But yeah, it's like it just makes it worse with social media because you just never really know who's genuine, who's not genuine. I feel like you don't have to really worry about that if you're not an influencer. If you don't have a big following, you don't really have to worry about that. But even in that instance, people will still try to be around you and for bad reasons. Like even if you don't have a following, like say you're just a pretty girl and every time you go out, men flock to you. And another woman sees that and she decides to be friends with you because of that. So it doesn't even have to have anything to do with social media. People could just be around you for all different types of reasons. And it's like in this day and age, people want to see you fail. They want to see you fall. And sometimes they want to just be around you just to see you fall. And it's like they're doing things behind the scenes that are like bad. I'm going to just say bad. They're doing things behind the scenes that are like, sneaky, snake like, phony, weird behavior. And you can't really trust them. And they're just around you because they want to see you fall because they secretly don't like you. It's just all types of things really go on. I feel like this generation has made it worse, but because there's always going to be somebody who's phony. There's always going to be somebody who's phony. But yeah, people will come into your life, try to come into your life for all different types of reasons. And you just have to ward out the good from the bad. And, that's where discernment comes into play. But it can be really frustrating when you don't know who's really for you and who's not for you. And you just go through all these different people not knowing that, this one doesn't really like you or this one does like you or, all these different things. But again, like I said, discernment, that's when that comes into play. So yeah, but yeah, being in your 20s is hard, especially in today's world. I don't know about my parents' generation because I don't really ever recall asking them what their 20s were like. If I did, I can't remember what they said at this very moment, but now I really want to ask them because I'm curious to know because everybody has different experiences. But sometimes I just wish that I could have the 20s life that I want. And it's not really going the way I want it to. Not yet, there's still time, but there are things that I want that I really want to have in my 20s. And it's fine if it happens in my 30s, but different things, different reasons that I won't share because it's not your business. But that was kind of rude, but whatever. Um, yeah, there's certain things that I want right now that I don't know if I'll be able to have while I'm in my 20s. And that's okay, but it can be really frustrating when your life doesn't go the way you want it to and you try and you try and you try and it's not really working out the way that you pictured in your mind because you can picture something in your head all day long. It doesn't mean it's actually going to happen. So, yeah. Um, Thinking about this now, I have more to say, but I don't want this video to be too long. So I think I'm going to do a part 2 about being in your 20s. So actually, give me a second. Let me see. Okay, yeah. So I have more to say about this topic. I rambled on a little bit in a different way than I thought I would. So I'm going to do a part 2 for this episode. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. I will see you on part 2. Please come back and watch it next week. I will see you guys soon. Love you. Bye.